going to show you how to install VestaCP, which is a free and open source control panel for your Linux servers. Hey guys, my name is Raman and welcome to digital marketing channel Webby Digital, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install and configure VestaCP, which is actually the most popular free and open source control panel for your Linux servers. It's a great alternative to cPanel, which is very costly if you compare to the alternatives which are actually available in the market. But I know cPanel is actually very powerful control panel you must have if you have a large websites, because it's actually very easy to configure and you have support, mind-blowing support available there. So since it's the open source, you don't have that much support available. Then keeping that aside, we will review that in upcoming minutes. So if you're looking for something more lightweight and customizable, then you should opt for this VestaCP. We will configure, install and review this particular control panel in upcoming minutes. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do it, because that will boost our morale to post more and more videos and make more informative video for you in upcoming time. So let's get started. So first thing I want you to do is to follow first link, which is the vestacp./install. There you will find all the documentation to install it to your server. So what you need first you need the root access to your server if you have a VPS, or if you have a dedicated server, or if you have a AWS or something like a cloud server from the DigitalOcean, something like that, then you need a root access from to install such. You can also install VestaCP from AWS marketplace, so you don't need to enter commands on your SSH client. Okay, so here we have a page here. The install instruction is very straightforward. First you need to connect to your root server, okay, and then download the installation script with this particular script and just run it. That's all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply additional install settings. I need a custom web server, I need a custom FTP. Then if you know about such terminology, then you should opt for advanced install settings here. So here we have a web Nginx plus Apache, which is actually the most powerful combination here. So you have a power of Apache plus Nginx, which is actually the very lightweight and most powerful web server which I use on my clients and all of my affiliate sites. So you should use Nginx plus Apache because it doesn't have a standalone Nginx version on this VestaCP. For that you need to install CPANEL, which I have already covered that video, and it's also the most powerful and better than VestaCP, but we are going to review that in later videos. So here we have a web server Nginx plus Apache, and for the FTP I suggest you to go with the default version. And for the mail, if you don't need a Davecot or Spam Assassin, which is actually the extension to the mail server, so it's up to you, but I will just leave it to the default configuration here. So DNS, if you want to control your DNS from your control panel, then you should select the named version, or if you don't want it, then you should select the no name, but I will just keep it on the named. So firewall here, so firewall is IP tables plus fail to ban. It's standard, so you just don't need to deselect anything or select anything. So next is Softaculous. So here is a Softaculous from where you can easily install web applications like WordPress, Joomla, or something like other CMS from at click of your button. So it's not a free extensions here. It requires you to buy from a Softaculous website, which is the $2 per year or per month, something like that. So it depends upon the subscription module. So if you want that, then you should select the yes. If you don't want that, just select no. I don't want that because I will be installing my own PHP script or WordPress there. But if you want that, just click the yes button. But I will click the yes for this particular video to show you how it does actually work. So additional repository, if you need any additional repository, arrive me here. So if you want, you just click on that, but I will suggest you to include this particular repository here. So file system quota, so if you have a file system quota, then click on the yes. But if you don't have any quota, then you just need to select no here. So database, if you want PostgreSQL or MySQL is actually the most famous or most popular, so I will just select MySQL, but we will talk about the PostgreSQL in the upcoming videos. So here is SSL for the hostname. You just don't need to select it by now, but we will configure that after the installation. But you can also configure that here if you have a hostname like here we have a webby.com and we have an email here like roman@webby.com. and if you have a port or something, if you want to include the password, you can also include the password here, but I won't just do it because I would like to install it to generate the password for me. So here we get a customized command. Here we have got the connect to your root server, which we are going to use a PuTTY or a Mac OS terminal. So download and install script and run it with these particular configuration. So it's depends upon you and your need for your web server. So in the next, what you need to do is just open your terminal here. I will use Mac OS terminal. If you have a PuTTY, you can just open the PuTTY software if you are on the Windows. So it's a open source application. So what you need to do is for the Mac OS terminal to connect to your root, we have already covered that video in the previous section. Then you just go there and browse how to connect to your root server, but we are going to cover in here anyway. So to connect to your root server via the Mac OS, you need a command. First is SSH to let it know we are going to connect a root server. Here you need a port -p. Port is my 22. Here is root, and in the next you need to enter your IP address. Root is the username. If you have other username like Ubuntu or something like that, you can just type that out here. So root at, I will type it out my IP address here. So just click enter and it will opt for the password. So enter the password, it will connect to your root server. So I have a Ubuntu server here. So what you need to do is just copy first this download installation script here, this command, and paste here, and it will start downloading it. So it already have downloaded. So in the next we need to run it, and just copy this particular command and just click enter. So it will start installing. Here you given a confirmation here, Nginx web server, Apache web server as a backend, and blind and DNS server. So these are all the options you have to configure. So here you just need to click yes, and if you want to enter admin email address, so I will suggest you to include any admin email where you will find all the emails. Like if you have forgot your password, you can easily do that with the help of this admin email. I will just leave it with my own Gmail. Okay, so Vesta port number. So here you can enter your own custom port number such that you all the penetration or to disallow any hacking activities. So because the standard port number is 8083, but if you want to enter your own, you can just do it like this, like 888. So I will just type it out like this. You can just select your own, like your house number or something. It should be 4 digit, and please enter FQD and hostname. So I will just enter my hostname ns.webby.com. So installation will continue. It will take about 15 minutes. So have a sip of your coffee and it will just get it done just before you done with your coffee. Okay, as you can see now that it's installed. So you will get the message like this, the Vesta big, and the congratulations, you have successfully installed the VestaCP. So you will get the whole URL where you need to log into your control panel. So you need to copy this and keep it safe wherever you like. So let me just click this and go to there. Just go to the advanced. Okay, so it's not working right now. Let me just go here, delete this HTTPS to HTTP. Okay, so it's not. Let me just open the Safari. Show details. You can proceed to the website, visit website. So here you will get this login panel. So you just need to paste the admin here and the password. There you go. Never save for this website. So you will get the neat and clean UI of this particular control panel, and it's very straightforward, as you see. So this is the admin. This is the you can say account or a user created, and if you want to create another user, so you can easily create it by clicking on the add user, such that if you have a developer or some system administrator, then you can easily add user like username, password, and email them all the details you want. So you can also give the package here, the Gainsborough, Bellsborough, Statford, that's however you like, and give the English and send login credential to email address. So you can easily send or add user to your server control panel. So that's what this user tab means. So here is the web tab. So if you want to add a new website to it, like here we have a nswebby.com. This is the host name we have used while installing this. So if you want to add a new website to it, you can easily do it by clicking on add web domain. So suppose I am going to add a domain called webby.co. so IP address will be this. If you have a multiple IP address attached to your server, then you can easily change that or select that using the selector itself. So aliases will be this. So DNS support, yes. You want a mail support, then yes. If you want to use the mail of third-party mail integration, then you don't need to check this mail support. And if you want a proxy support, you can also do that. So click on the advanced options here. So SSL is very important. As you can see, all the leading websites are using SSL, and this is very important for the new websites also. So make it your website secure, because Google don't accept or don't rank those unsecured websites because it's against their search policies. So if you want to rank, or if you want to put your domain out there in the search pages of leading search engines like Google, Bing or something, etc., like Nginx or something like that, then you need to select this SLS support. So Let's Encrypt support is the free certificate issuer. So you just need to select the Let's support. And if you need a web statistics, if you are using a statistics like a Google Analytics or something like that, then you don't need to just click on it, because it will eat more resources of your server. But if you want detailed analytics of whoever visiting your website, like a bot, and what a bot doing on your website or something like that, then you just click on the web analyzer or stats. That's completely depend on you. So I won't need anything like that, because it's just so if you need a additional FTP, if you're using a FTP from the root itself, then you don't need to create additional FTP. But if you are giving away a credential to, let's say, to a developer or system administrator, then you need to add a FTP. You should, I don't say you need to, but you should add additional FTP to them, because if they they try to steal or something, or they try to be naughty with you, then you can easily delete that just clicking on the delete button. So it's entirely up to you if you want to create a FTP for such scenarios. Okay, you can add multiple FTP account to pointing out to this web directory. Okay, so that's how you can easily create an FTP, right? So I just need to support, just click on add, and it will completely create your new domain or your new profile to your server. Going to the DNS, if you have created a named DNS, then you have something like this. So nswebby.com. So you need to point this as a name server into your domain registrar. Okay, so if you have created something like this, then and you should create one more DNS domain like ns2 here, ns2.webby.com, something like that, such that all your DNS activity will be managed through this control panel itself. So if you want something like that, then you should add a new domain here. So one is already done, so let me just add one more domain like ns1.webby.com. so IP address will be this. So it will just create a new named DNS. Hope you get to know until now. So next is mail. So this is the mail account if you want to add anything. So this is the domain here, and if you want to add any mail account, just go to the mail here, and you have a domain like this, ns.webby.com. and if you want to add a new account to it, like admin@ns.webby.com, so you just need to do it. So this is the domain. So if you have a multiple domain, you need to select one domain from this selector and your account. So let's say I need to create a admin account here. So the password can be generated through a generate button, or you can use your own password, or you can use a password generator. Like here we have a Webby password generator. So here we have a password generator. If you can create a password of, let's say, a 40th length also. So the complexity should be the tough and generate. So you will get the password like this. So it's up to you. If you need to create a strong password, you have a tool like this available at your disposal, or if you want to add your own or rememberable password, then you can just type it out here. So you have an advanced option. If you want to add a quota to it. Like if you have a very small disk space like 100 GB or 200 GB, and you need to just give a quota to your user. Suppose you have a designer in your team or a blogger in your team, then you need to give to them their own email address, and you don't want that quota to be exceed, because it will eat more and more space of your server. Then you can add the quota system into your mail account. Then here you have a quota in megabytes, so it should be in MB. So you can just enter your own number here, like 10 or something like that. So if you have any LSS, like use local part. If you don't know about it, just skip that part and forward to, if you want to forward all the email from this address to another, like you have a no reply at webby or yourdomain.com. So if someone replies to that email and you want to forward it to your own or other email where you actually manage your all emails and read those out, then you can just forward it to that particular mail. And do not store forward email. If you don't want to store forward, it's easy, just click this particular forwarded selector, and here we have a send login credential. If you want to send it to your team, then you can just click or enter any email here, then click add, and it will create the email account for your team or for yourself. Okay, so that's how this mail tab works here. And now moving forward to the DB is the database. Okay, so by default it already created this admin/default database here, and if you want to access the PHP admin, you can just click on this PHP admin, where you actually log into your database and upload all the SQL values or something like that. So if you want to create a new database, just click on the add database. So here we have a new database name, admin_name. So here we have a username, just clicking on new, and you can just generate password here. And your database password should be secure and should be complicated. Then you should write your own password here, because this doesn't sound any complicated. So you can use our password generator, or you can also use this form, or create anything which is actually complicated, because database is where all your user values or critical informations are stored. So you should create a strong password here. So type is MySQL, and if you have selected the PostgreSQL, then you have to select one of them here. So host should be localhost. Yes, it should be localhost because it's the default value. And this char set is, you should don't get into this. Okay, so if you want to log in, if you want to send this database detail to your team, then you can just send it to your particular email address here. So that's how this database tab works. And the next is the cron. So cron is something like, if you have a repetitive task and if your script demands cron, then you should select, or you can opt this particular option here. You have something that, or you have a data that actually update after a minute or after 2 minutes. So you can use this cron to actually generate it. If you are not familiar with it, then just skip that part, because most of the general websites don't use that much cron and they actually automatically apply it. But if you are using a custom PHP scripts or something like that, then you need to enter a cron here. So you must have given the cron URL where that cron actually calls. And if you click on the add cron job here, so the command will be specified to you. Okay, so you just need to paste the command here, and you can select after how many time it will run. So here run command after every minute, or every 2 minutes, every 30. So that actually based on your script. So that's how you can actually configure the cron job here, and just click on the add and it will create it for you. So hope you understand it by now how this cron job actually works in the VestaCP. So next is backup. If you want to create a backup, then you should select this. Okay, and if you need to exclude something from the backup, then here is the web, mail, DB, or user. So you can actually exclude something from this. You just need to configure here. So web domain you need to add the mail domains, you need to add databases which you want to exclude it in your backup file, and user directories if you want it. Okay, so here is the backup file which will be converted here. Okay, so if you don't want such things to happen, okay, and you can easily download by clicking on download. I suggest you to keep that as it is, because if your site goes down or something nasty happen, then you can actually have a backup here where you download and restore all those nasty things that actually happened. Okay, so this is the best solution to those scenarios. So hope you understand how this backup actually works. So here you have a main menu here, which is the packages. Okay, so this is the packages which you can actually configure, like when we were using the user tab here, and if you want to add a tab, it has an option of packages, right? So here you can actually configure those packages. Default includes everything. Default includes this. Suppose you have a hosting management or something like a hosting business, and you have a multiple user on one server, like shared hosting, then you need to create a package. So you can easily create a package here. You just need to click the add package. Thus you can name your own package here, and you can configure everything from here. How SSH access can be configured here, how DNS template can be configured here, okay, and how proxy template, and you can also describe the quotas here, like how many web domains you want them to add, how many web aliases you want them to add, and how many DNS domains you want them to add. So you can just configure it and add here. So you can also configure your name servers here like this. Hope you understand how this packages works. Okay, so IP is your main IP address, and if you have bought a IP, then you can just add an IP address here simply by clicking here. So you need to add the net mask here, so interface will be up to you. So it's just default ETHO, and if it's a dedicated IP, then you should unselect it. Okay, if it's a shared IP, then you just selected that like that. And you can assign domains, and you can assign NAT IP association. That's up to you. So next is the graphs. So graphs, what does it do? It just give you the statistics of your server, like on the basis of daily, yearly, or monthly, load averages, memory usages, bandwidth. So if you have a website that actually big in size, then you should monitor these statistics here. So it just reload all the statistics after seconds, which you can also define in the cron jobs itself. So this is the graph. After 15 or 20 seconds, it will load automatically. So here's the statistics. So if you have statistics defined like a of stats or a webalizer, then you will see all the statistics here of your server, how many users coming in, how many users going out, and all the statistics will be defined here with beautiful charts. Okay, so log is all the activities you are doing on your VestaCP. So all the log will be defined here, so such that if you have gone into trouble and you want to know where you have gone wrong, then you can just go to the log here and find all the logs here, what you have actually done to your control panel, right? So that's how you can easily manage all your logs here. So updates. So you have many applications installed or a control panel installed on your VestaCP. So you have Vesta Nginx, Vesta IonCube, and Vesta Softaculous. If you want all to update, then you can just click this and click the update button. And if you want to do it auto update, then it's already enabled default. If you want to disable that, just click on the disable like this. So auto update will be successfully disabled. So here you will get all the versions here and releases. So you just need to come here and update manually. And if you want to enable auto update, just click on the enable auto update, then it will auto update automatically, right? So go to the firewall. So firewall, I don't suggest you to play around with it, because you should not do that until you have a knowledge of such stuff here. So firewall is all about the security. So if you use something third-party extensions or firewall services like Cloudflare, then you just skip this part. And I suggest you and I recommend you to use only the Cloudflare for your website, because it will ease your website flow. Okay, you just should not play around this particular, it will damage your site badly. Okay, but if you want to add any firewall rule, then you just click on the add firewall and do the actions you want, like drop or accept or protocol or TCP or something like that. You can easily manage that firewall rule from here. Okay, so and now going to the app section. So here's the app section where your Softaculous has been installed. which is this. So here is all the software which you can actually install at click of your button. So this is the free version. So after 2, 3 or 4 installation of these free software, then you have to buy their subscription, which is actually the $2 per something. Okay, so you can just go to the WordPress here install by clicking on the install, and you go to this and this. So this is the PHP, and if you want a JavaScript version, you have a JavaScriptify to your website, and then you can just install all the application you want. So if you click on this PHP, so there's also sitepad website builder, something like this. So that's how you can easily install apps at the click of the button if you want to blogs. So here is the blog types are available. So let's see, in the free version of Softaculous, this feature of comparing and seeing the rating with is disabled. So actually you need to buy the subscription. So if you know how to install the WordPress manually, then you can just do it by going into your FTP and logging into your VestaCP. So now I assume you have learned all the basics of workaround of VestaCP. So now we have covered all the default settings of VestaCP. Now we are moving forward to the server part. So here, if you click on the server, you will get all the details which you have actually installed on your server. So here you have a fail to ban, and you have a cron IP tables, and you have a FTP server, database server, email, antivirus or mail server, DNS server, reverse proxy, which is Nginx, and your main web server is Apache here. And you have a server ns.webby.com, which is the Ubuntu 18.04. So what you need to do is, here you will get all the extensions here. So what you need to do here is, you can actually configure all your web server, reverse proxy server, and all your mail server from here. Suppose if we click on the server itself here, you can actually change your time zones, you change your language here, and if you click on the web, you can configure proxy server here. Okay, proxy server will be this, and if you want to change something like this, worker processes, worker connections, and client maximum body size, and you can actually configure that here. So these are all the value which you actually configured using configure a PHP.INI file. So if you want to edit those PHP.INI file, you can easily edit all those values here. Okay, so you can also configure a PHP.INI file here. So all the max execution time, all memory limit or something, so maximum post size or upload maximum file size, you can all configure here. But if you click on the advanced option, it will give you every file information here. So if you have something specific to be changed, then you can actually click on the advanced here. So you should click on the restart, and it will save it up and restart all your Apache server here. So hope you understand how to configure such server like here. Okay, going back, you have now know how to configure your PHP.INI file. So if you want to edit your PHP file via FTP, then the folder is in etc, which is etc/php.ini. So next is Apache web server. You can configure here easily. If you want to add any new rule to your web server, you can just add it out here. Okay, like if you want to add some redirection rule or something like that, you can easily write here. So Nginx is a proxy server. It just work as a backend, it doesn't work as a main web server. Then you can also configure that here. So you can configure which we were talking about. And mail part is here. If you have something mail server or external mail server, then you can just actually edit this. You have a database option here. Okay, you have a backup option here. If you want to disable those local backups, then you can just click on the no here. And if you want a compression level, like you really want to compress that hard, then you click on 9. But keep in mind that it will eat more resources. So if your server is on resource based limitation, then you should select as minimal as this. Okay, so here the directory is /backup, where you find all your backups. And if your drive is clogged up with the space, then you can easily remove backup using this. Okay, because this will create backups after so much time which you actually enabled it. And here is Vesta CS SSL. Okay, if you want to create a Vesta SSL, then you can easily create it with this, or you can use web domain SSL certificate which can be tied up to this particular panel. So here Vesta control panel plugins. Okay, here you have a, if you have a want to create a file system this quota, then you can create yes, and it will create it. If you want to include a firewall, yes, it will. And you have all other, and you have also have an option of including file manager here, but you need to buy a key to use this. Okay, and there's no actually workaround around this as a free, because even if you use that method of changing the keys in your VestaCP, but if your session is closed for once, and it will just wiped out from your VestaCP. So I suggest you, if you want to buy a file manager from them, then you should buy a lifetime version, because it actually comes very handy if you are editing something straight from the VestaCP. Okay, so you can actually buy a license $3 per month, or you can buy lifetime version. So that's what I hate about the VestaCP, because file manager is actually very basic functionality to be enabled in your control panel, but considering it's a free and they also want to fund their project like a VestaCP to keep it open source, then you should buy something from them such that it will stay free for a long time. Because if you see the pricing of CPANEL or WHM or something similar like that, then you see a pricing of $30 to $40 per month for the dedicated server, or a VPS it's actually $20 per month. It's an extra cost which added to your bill. So I recommend you to buy something from a free open source script like a VestaCP if you want to use this, because it will help the developer of this particular control panel to stay funded and stay live as long as possible. Because if you don't contribute something to a project like this, then it will wiped off in upcoming year or month. So I suggest you to actually support them by buy plugins from them, or donate them using their forum or something like that. So if you have a backup migrations manager, you can also do that easily with this. So that's about it. That's all about the VestaCP, which I personally used in my previous, or you can say prior to 2020. I personally used this particular panel for a very long time, like for 4 or 5 years, because it's very easy managed and it was open source, until I found out AA panel, which is actually the game changer in managing your hosting panel. So we will discuss how to install the AA panel in the upcoming videos. But for this video, I hope you liked something. I hope you got something from this video. And if you have learned something, then please click on the like button. And if you want to learn something like this in future, then you should click on the subscribe button, because it will boost our morale to post more and more videos like this. So see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.